Syracuse started the game with an extreme amount of energy. And as the game started, I could just tell that they really, really wanted to win this game. That's a credit to the coach and staff and the team for getting in the mindset that it takes to go into a tournament like the ACC and be successful. It kind of knocked us back on our heels a little bit. And obviously their plan was to drive the ball and take us off the dribble, and they were successful with that. And we did a poor job, I thought, containing the dribble in the first half. We got down by 16. And then I thought our guys kind of came alive a little bit. We put some different combinations on the floor. I think we had about 3 freshmen out there at one time, which is not something that we've been accustomed to doing. But I thought they responded very well. Were much more aggressive and played with a lot more desperation during that period. And we were very fortunate to put ourselves in a position to have a chance to win the game. Then I thought we made some ill-advised mistakes. I thought we act like a team that wasn't quite as experienced as we really are. But I'm proud of our team. I thought they gave tremendous effort. I thought the game could have got away from us. But it shows a little bit about the character and the maturity and the progress they've made during the course of the year. We never like to lose a game in a tournament like this. It takes away, all your opportunities. But I got to give Syracuse the credit, because I thought that they were extremely prepared. They played with a lot of desperation, a lot of intensity, and they were a little bit better than we were today.
Good questions. First for Jameer. Second row.
Jameer, can you talk about that rally? You guys cut it to 3. Just the way you guys were playing, how confident were you guys could still win the game even when you were down 16?
I think we had a lot of young guys in, and we just was going hard, fighting. I think that's one thing we hold our hats on is fighting back. We kind of dug ourselves in a hole in the first half, but I'm proud of us for fighting back and cutting the lead down.
Front row.
Jameer, it felt like you went quiet for a bit, then all of a sudden there was this burst of energy, and next thing you know, they couldn't keep you out of the paint, they couldn't keep you off the boards. What happened in the second half to get you lit up again?
I feel like we got to a slow start in the first half. We wasn't moving the ball as we normally do, and it kind of led to us like digging ourselves in a hole. So in the second half, I just felt like myself and a couple other guys that get downhill like we needed that burst out of each other, and we talked about it in the halftime.
Third row.
Jameer, what's the greatest lesson you've learned from Coach Hamilton over the last couple seasons?
I would say just to stay humble and not to put too much pressure on yourself. Basketball is a childhood game that we all enjoy playing, that we all grew up playing, not to put too much pressure on yourself, and that it starts really off the court, getting academics done and stuff like that. That's way more important than basketball. So really just that.
Front row.
Jameer, you decided to come back after testing waters last offseason. How beneficial was your extra year at FSU for you?
I believe it was real beneficial. I think I learned a lot from the new guys that we have. A lot of young guys, they taught me a lot of things. Transfers, he taught me a lot. And really coming back, I just wanted to, graduate and pick, Coach Ham's brain a little bit, and along with the rest of the staff, and just help me for the future.
Second row.
Jameer, over the last month with Coach Ham announcing he was going to step down after the season, what's that been like for you guys? And have you noticed any difference in Coach Ham, or is he still coaching the same way he's always coached you?
I think Coach Ham always gonna coach the way he coached, no matter what. I think it changed our mindset a little bit, just knowing that we gotta, put it on the line for Coach Ham, along with doing it for ourselves. I think us coming together as a new group, we got 10 new guys, so we all just wanna put forth our best effort.
Back right.
Jameer, you've known this moment was coming at some point, that it would be the end for Coach Ham. What did he tell you guys in the locker room afterward, and what did you guys say to him?
I would say Coach Ham is a selfless guy, so he don't want anything to be about himself. So he just told us to go out there and play hard and just be the best version of yourself.
Other questions for Jameer? Okay, thanks, Jameer. You can head back to the locker room.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Okay, questions for Coach Hamilton, front row, right?
Coach Hamilton, coaching for as long as you have, what has been the best thing that being a head coach over all these years has brought you?
I think because of my upbringing and the emphasis that my family insisted that I put on getting my degree, and I wasn't thinking about professional basketball. I was thinking about setting a table for my brothers and sisters. I adopted Willie, Barry, and Pam, and my brother John he was too old for me to adopt. And they went to college. They married people who went to college, and their kids went to college. And so it's me getting my education changed the whole culture of my family. And most of the guys that we've recruited over the years, it's a lot of them, they were first generation college students. Most of them are the first person to go to college in their families. So I've never lost sight of that, and I've made an emphasis everywhere I've been. I was at the University of Miami for 10 years, and we had 3 kids didn't graduate. I think I've been 23 years at Florida State. So in the last 33 years, I think I've had maybe 4 or 5 kids not graduate. That is probably the biggest satisfaction that I've received out of this, knowing that we've created an atmosphere that youngsters, I think, we have an opportunity to be successful in life. One of the greatest moments for me is normally when they walk across the stage, and I mean, President Thrasher would always have their diploma in a basketball. He would always throw them a basketball and handed them their papers, and that was always a fun time for me. But I try to tell our players, I was almost embarrassed last Saturday when I walked in the locker room and they all had shirts on with my picture on the front of them. I told them I don't know quite how to deal with this, because I don't want it to be about me. I want them to be about the name on the front of their real jersey. I wanted them to go out and play for the Seminole Nation and represent them. And I think our kids did a pretty good job of that against SMU, even though we probably was the underdogs going into that game. I just want these guys to grow and mature and have a better life. I mean, because if I asked, and probably if you asked all 380 schools in the locker room, how many of you guys want to play in the NBA? You probably have 95% of them that'll raise their hand. Well, you only got about 550, maybe 600 jobs for everybody in the world. So that percentage goes down a lot, but that's not what they think. I mean, you have walk-ons that think they got a chance to go to the NBA. So that's the mindset of these youngsters. And you have to realistically at some point bring them down to earth and just be realistic with them so they can have a better way of life. It helped me, and that's probably my biggest motivation.
23 years ago when you were hired, you talked about what you wanted to accomplish at the university. As you walked off the court the last time tonight in your home state, how do you feel about everything you did over those 2+ decades?
Well, I'm gonna have to let someone else evaluate that. I've done the very best I could, and that's part of my makeup. Regardless of what circumstances I was dealing with, I always wanted to do the very best I could with the ability that God has blessed me with. And I've lived my life by that. And so I'm comfortable that I've given all I have, and I hope people appreciate it, and I hope they feel that we've left it in pretty good shape. But I'll let someone else judge my work because I did the very best I could.
The Florida State locker room is open for another 15 minutes. Next question.
Now, Coach, you mentioned being here. How much of a full circle moment is to have your last game as a coach 25 miles away from your hometown?
Everyone asks me those kind of questions, and I feel like maybe something must be wrong with me because I really try to stay focused on just preparing for the game. I don't call a lot of relatives. I don't answer the phone when some of my friends call wanting tickets. You know, I just try to stay focused because that's my responsibility. You know, the type of jobs that I've had over the years, they all need a little fixing up, with the exception of Kentucky. You know, that was job maintaining because it had such history. But Oklahoma State hadn't been to postseason tournament in 27 years. Miami was without basketball for 13 years in Florida State. So I've never had the luxury of all those other mindsets. Every day for me has been a work day. And trying to do what my father told me, don't let anybody outwork me and don't make any excuse. And when you have that kind of mindset, you know, and you grow up with that. See, a lot of folks want to make progress, but they don't embrace the process. There's so much learning, so much growing, so much confidence in the process that the process becomes what I focus on. And I worry about the progress at the end of the day. If your process is correct, then you do the very best you can and you handle it that way, then you're not really in control of the progress and what level you make. You just have to do the very best you can, what you can control. And that's your focus and your effort.
Back of the room.
Leonard, with all the emphasis you put on getting an education as you depart Florida State, do you feel college basketball is in a good place? And if not, why not?
You know the answer to that, but if you're going to ask me a question, I'm going to have to give you an answer. Okay, you'll probably have 3,000 kids put their name in the portal. Somewhere close to 40% of those kids who were in the portal because they had scholarship at certain places won't get a scholarship offer. So what's the percentage of that? Sometimes tell me what's 40% of 300? Look on your, come on, Gary. Okay, so that's 1,200, right? That's what we're talking about? Times 5 is what? So in 5 years, we're going to have 6,000 kids without having an opportunity to get their education. 85% of those kids probably going to be African American Black kids who can ill afford not to get their education. Now, there was a time when if you didn't have the right graduation rate, you couldn't play in the NCAA tournament. Now, I haven't heard anybody talk about academics in the last 3 or 4 years. It's all been about the other things that we're dealing with. So I am concerned about what are those kids supposed to do, and what are we as administrators and coaches supposed to do when we're creating this type of challenge for guys to overcome, and everybody's been led that the grass is always greener on the other side. Just having the opportunity to make those mistakes is something that I think we could possibly have avoided. But I'm sure that the framers, whoever came up with this philosophy and what we're dealing with, had a better way. But I'm concerned academically. Are we moving forward? Are we moving backwards?
Back right.
Leonard, you mentioned that the jobs you had every day had to be a work day. Every day doesn't have to be a work day now. What's next for you?
Well, I have a lot of things in mind, no doubt about that. I probably would do some ministry. and I'll probably do something educational, and probably do some humanitarian things that I'm interested in getting involved with. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to mentor some young coaches and because I've had so many people help me along the way. When I was very fortunate to work for Lake Kelly, my first job, it was just such a blessing because he was just a fine man. I learned how to treat kids, how to treat people in a classy way. Obviously going to Kentucky, learn how to be involved with a top program, then have an opportunity to go to Oklahoma State and Miami. Those things have always been challenges that I've embraced. But I'm sure I might have some challenges missing the game, but I'm going to be okay because I know I've done the very best I could with what God has blessed me with. But I told my wife I'm gonna take voice lessons. I'm gonna learn how to play the piano. I'm gonna learn how to play a guitar. Now I'm probably gonna have to move into the garage, but I'm sure I'll find something. But I'm not going to. I'm gonna plan it out. I'm not gonna rush into anything. I'm gonna think things through, and I just want to find a way to contribute to some way of helping people who are less fortunate or just need help. I used to have two mentors, and John Thompson and George Ravelin. Whenever I got in a tough spot of something that I hadn't dealt with as a head coach, I'd always call them, and they would impart wisdom on me before I did something stupid. And I hope that I can be that mentor to some other coaches as well.
Second row.
After they hit the free throws to go up 4 with there's 0.9 seconds left, and you guys are inbounding the ball, and you were still trying to like tell the guys where to go on that play. Is that just because you're not ready to be done, or is that because you wanted to win this game that bad?
I was focused. I'm not talking about the future. I want in the moment. I was hoping that he missed one, and I wanted to see could we get the ball down the court and get us a dynamic 3 and go into overtime. But he hit the 4th one. But you try to play it to the horn sounds, and that's the way I've always been.
Back of the room.
My name is Teddy Caputo. I'm with the Newhouse Sports Media Center. My question for you is, as a man of faith, how has faith played a role in your coaching career over the years? And as you leave the stage today as a coach, what is one piece of advice from your journey that you can give young coaches who you'd like to mentor, who are trying to make a mark in this league?
Well, I'm going to answer your last question first. Whenever I talk to some young coaches who are just getting started in the business, I always tell them don't get so caught up with all their responsibilities that they forget their family. I tell them they need to call their kids every night if they're out of town. They need to pray with them in the morning when they wake up, pray with them at night if they can, as they put them in bed. And they need to hug them every day, tell them how much they love them, and don't allow yourself to get so caught up with the responsibilities and the pressure that coaches work under that you forget your main responsibility is your family. From a faith standpoint, I'm just who I am. I don't walk around with a Bible in my hand or standing on the street corner preaching, but I was just raised in an environment. I never lived more than 30, 40 yards from my church. And every time the door opened, we were in it in some capacity. We enjoyed it. We loved it, and my mother would give me a dime to play in collection and a nickel to play in Sunday school. And that was my way of tithing when I didn't know what tithing was. But my point is that that was part of our culture. I don't know if I can remember a Sunday or not going to church. I don't ever remember not being there as a youngster, and through high school and college, I don't think I ever missed a day on a Sunday going to church. that's just part of who we are as a family, and I enjoy it. I embrace it. We do at Miami for about 9 years. I would fast for 9 months, and a Daniel's fast, and I would get up in the morning and read and study, and just kind of part of what has kept me grounded and not allowed me sometimes to what the word say the word do unto others like you don't want them to do unto you. But no, seriously, that's just part of my family. I'm upbringing, and it's worked well for me. I never try to push that on my players though. And if they want to go to church with me, I take them. And but I try to provide that moral compass that allows them in those moments where they got to make decisions that they move it in the right direction.
Front row.
Coach, we've seen two other head coaches step down in the ACC, Jim Larinaga and Tony Bennett. Have you reached out to them before or after your decision as well? Do y'all conversate?
Well, I've talked to both of them, but Jim laid it out for everybody. He said what he thought everybody else wanted to say. So I don't have to say anything because he was pretty clear as to how he felt. Tony, I had a short visit with him, and we've talked on the phone. But the challenges that we have are what they are, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So we have to figure out a way how to work within the rules that we have. You just got to figure it out, and everybody's going to probably do it differently. And it will be. I'm just not going to be a person that want to complain about everything. You know, it might sound like I'm making an excuse. You know, you just got to figure out how to work within the rules that we have, and it's not easy. You'll find some schools that'll make some mistakes, and they might have a bad year, but they'll learn from that experience, and you'll see guys back recovering from that, maybe a little shorter because they understand now how we have to deal in the climate that we're faced with.
Third row.
Coach, what gives you the most faith for this program moving forward under one of your former players in Coach Loucks?
Well, one thing about Luke, he thinks things through. Man, has the all-time leading assist record in a championship game. Is by Luke Loucks. I think he had 13 assists in the game, the championship game that we won. Where was it? Might have been in was Atlanta. Atlanta, which says a lot about his mindset. He did all the little things, and we had some very interesting conversations along the way. Sometimes he would have his frustrations, but I think that he's dealt enough on all levels that he has matured to the point where he understands what it's like at the NBA level and the challenges, NBA level. And I think he's also experienced a lot at Florida State in how we maintain our program and the things that he went through, and from a development standpoint. I think he's very prepared, you know, to come in and navigate through it. He's extremely confident and probably a little stubborn like me. You know, he's going to be his own man. He's not going to ask me for any out of bounds plays. And he's going to develop it himself. And he has the ability to communicate with youngsters. And I think that he'll do a great job at Florida State.
Coach, it's been an honor.
Thank you very much.
A couple of times.